My dear friends, I welcome you to a new podcast with me, Girish. And in today's session, we're going to continue the series on self-sabotage. And we're actually going to discuss about reverse achievement today. Okay, what is reverse achievement? As the name states, okay, when you first hear it, it means that you're actually achieving something and then you're reversing it. So you're not able to fulfill the achievement as such because you're getting something and then you're doing something to actually go backwards instead of going forwards, right? So I'll start by giving you an example. So let's assume that you're trying to get into a relationship with someone else, someone you really like, but you actually, instead of putting all the effort to make the relationship work, what you do is you damage it by maybe cheating on the person or by avoidance or by changing behavior. So in that way, you're sabotaging the relationship, all right? Or second scenario, you get a promotion at work, but you sabotage this achievement by actually failing to meet the targets you set yourself, all right? Now, why do these things happen? Okay? Because why would you be achieving something, you're going towards fulfillment, but actually something happens that make you go backwards? So why does it happen? If we try to dig, we find out that we actually have a self-sabotaging subconscious mind, okay, which is actually trying to push you back into the safe zone again, into the familiar place where everything was routine, everything was working as it should be working. Because every time you try to do something new, your self-sabotaging subconscious doesn't want you to do something new because it wants you to actually stay fixed in one spot, in one place, and not progress. Just get on with the normal routine and leave that mundane life. Okay, so that's what the subconscious mind do. And how does it work now? It tries to bring you back to your comfort zone, let's say, to that familiar place, and it tries to prove to yourself that you were right by thinking that you can't do certain things, by making you fail. Now, that subconscious mind is deep rooted inside ourselves. That's why we don't realize that it's making these things to us, all right? And that's how the subconscious mind works. Now, how do we tackle that? All right, what can we do to actually try to neutralize that subconscious sabotaging mind? The first thing you can do is you should actually be pushing through the self-limiting beliefs. And how can you do that? Before you attempt to change something, you need to understand how the subconscious mind works. You need to understand, first of all, that we've all been programmed about what we can do and what we can't do. Okay, it's part of the internal processing. We've been told, okay, about what we can do and what we can't do. When we were very young, as a child, we thought that we could do anything. But as we grew up, our parents, our friends, our teachers, and people around us have been telling us how to live our life. And they've been telling us these are the things you can do, or these are the things you can't do, or you shouldn't do because of this, because of that. And these things have been put in our mind. So how do we tackle that subconscious self-sabotaging self? We need to push through the uncomfortable. Okay? We actually need to do the things which scare us, which make us feel uncomfortable. For example, let's say you've been told that you shouldn't be talking to strangers, or you need to be really careful with people, you can't really trust people. If you've been told these things, what will happen is you will always have a defensive approach when you try to form new relationships. That's how it's going to reflect, okay, in your life. So you actually need to really do the things which scare you, okay? For example, for me, I used to be afraid of heights, but what I actually did is I climbed down a waterfall with ropes, all right? And I swam in the river and got out of the river. All these things scared me to hell, but I actually did them. And the moment you actually do the things which scare you and you're able to do them, that moment you realize that you can actually accomplish these things. And you realize that there's much more to you. And that feeling creates so much confidence in yourself that you actually start to take more risk. You start to do more things that you were afraid of doing. And little by little, slowly, you actually start to transform yourself. And you end up in the process, you start to become more and more fearless. You take more risks, you accomplish more things, you learn more, and you transform more. And that's the most important thing I'm trying to communicate to you here. Taking risk, transforming yourself. Stop being in that comfort zone. Actually, you're scared of something, do it. If you're scared of public speaking to lots of people, start by doing it. If you're scared of dancing in public, do it. Everything that creates resistance in your body, okay? Anything that creates resistance in your body is actually communicating to yourself that there's something you're scared of. All right. And you actually need to do that thing so that you can overcome it and you can live your full potential. All right. So first point to tackle the nasty self-sabotaging subconscious mind is pushing through the self-limiting beliefs. The second thing is actually understanding how the mind works. We actually need to know what is factual and what is sentimental or made up by the mind. All right. Once again, I'll try to explain to you the process, how the brain works before we actually get into the solutions. What the brain does is it processes experiences. Okay. So we as human beings, we process experiences we have in the brain. Okay, and the brain, what it does is it stores part of the experiences. Okay, it doesn't store the full experience you've been having throughout the whole day. Let's say it stores only the information which is consistent. Okay, listen carefully now, which is consistent with your beliefs, with your values, and with your self-image. That's what the brain does. So the brain has, in fact, a built-in confirmation bias. Okay, the brain is a built-in confirmation bias system because it only keeps sections of your experiences, parts of your experiences which are consistent with your beliefs, your values, and your self-image. So it's not telling you the truth. For example, let's say you have low self-esteem. The brain is going to store and collect information and aspects of experiences which are only going to confirm and reinforce this belief of low self-esteem. Okay, so let's say you tell yourself that you're very bad at making relationships, or you're very, very bad at forming new relationships. Okay, so the brain knows that that's like your inner coding. What the brain is going to do is it's going to press all the experiences you've been having with people, let's say, throughout the years. It's only going to store the things which will actually confirm that belief you have that you can't form good relationships. Okay? So it will only remember the things which didn't work with people, but it will never actually remember the good things. For example, you were able to be very friendly with certain people. You actually had good relationships with some of your friends at your workplace. You were actually very compassionate and you were able to solve some family problems. It won't recollect those things. The brain will only recollect the things which will link or reinforce your low self-esteem. So you need to be really careful with that. All right? Because whatever you believe in, the brain is actually going to collect information from your experiences to reinforce that. That's why it works both sides. If you have solid belief systems in you, which are really positive and empowering belief systems, the brain will actually, because guys, what happens is experiences are experiences. Good things happen, bad things happen. But if you have solid beliefs about yourselves and you have good self-confidence, the brain is going to collect the things which will reinforce the good beliefs you already have in yourself, and you feel more confident, more forthcoming, and you'll be able to achieve more things. That understanding of the brain is something really amazing, and that's why I'm talking to you about it, because the more you understand how things work out, the more you can actually change your life. Now, what do we do with that? Okay, we do understand how the brain works and how it reinforces the self-beliefs we have. What we can do is we need to revisit the facts of the memory, okay, loaded with self-limiting beliefs. We need to look at our experiences again from a neutral perspective, okay, from an objective point of view. So whatever has happened, whatever experience happened to you, look at it again from a neutral perspective. Okay, don't get sentimental about it. Don't get angry about it. Don't get sad about it. Just look at the facts. These are the things which happen. Okay, it's as if someone external is accessing your inner experiences now and trying to make sense out of it. If that's not possible, if you find it hard, then you can actually talk to others and try to get their perspectives on board. Okay, and then once you have these perspectives, and then you look at it again, what I believe happened, is it what actually happened? Okay, once you have the opinions of people, then you can actually have a realistic picture of what happened. Because, you know, it's not something new, what I'm telling you. For example, let's say an incident happens and it has been experienced by 4 people. Each of these persons, they're going to describe the event in 4 different ways. None of them is actually going to have a version which is going to be the same for the other people, because we all interpret things in different ways, once again, based on our beliefs, what we think is right or wrong. And we actually interpret things in such a way that we're comfortable. Okay, we're comfortable with it because it kind of matches our belief system. Okay, so in that way, we tend up having a biased view of what's happening. So being objective is something very important. All right, and the last advice I will give you is you need to talk to yourself. Okay, if you want to override the subconscious mind, which is sabotaging everything in your life, you need to talk to yourself. There's actually a documentary which was made on the human brain, which claimed that we say between 300 to 1,000 words to ourselves per minute. Okay, now these 300 to 1,000 words which we say to ourselves every minute, how many of them are positive words we tell ourselves, and how many of them are negative words, self-sabotaging ourselves? Okay, so you need to be aware. What are the things you tell yourself? And when I asked you to talk to yourself, I meant talk to yourself in a positive way, talk to yourself in a loving way, talk to yourself in an empowering way. Okay, because you know, the fear which we experience, it results from the limbic brain system. Okay, it's a primal part of the brain which helps us to deal with anxiety. All right, okay, and it's something we can override. Okay, for example, you can rejiggle your brain, and instead of viewing obstacles as problems, you view them as challenges. So when something is disturbing you or is annoying you, you can view them as challenges. You can tell yourself, okay, if I'm able to do that one. It's challenging, but I'm going to improve myself. It's going to improve my skills. It's going to make me a more resourceful human being, a human being with more